Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Libby. I created this channel to share my learnings and things I enjoy in hopes to inspire others and build a high vibrational community. Thank you for being part of that community. Huge shout out to the Ruckus who I met through this community, who gave me this idea to make a video on first dates. I love first dates. It's the start of what could be something so beautiful. And it's really just tapping into someone else's universe. I love getting to know people, seeing what they're about, even if they're not for me. I love seeing, I can learn from anybody. So just being in that learning setting and doing something special with someone is so special to my heart. So I want to talk about how to pick what to do on a first date, and then also what questions to ask to get to know someone really authentically. Dating's crazy sometimes, so I hope that this helps you. So first thing, deciding what you're gonna do. So if I were a guy and I was initiating a woman, asking her out on a date, I would ask her, what is her ideal date? For me, I love going on a walk, going and grabbing a coffee, walking around the mall, doing, seeing how the person is in public, seeing what it's like to just walk and talk together. For me, a first date is really about the energy that I feel. Is this someone that energizes me, that drains me, makes me nervous? How do I feel around this person? That really helps me before I go and sit down at a dinner where I'm facing them. To me, if I meet you for the first time and I'm sitting at a table across from you, I'm going to be awkward because I'm feeling the energy. I'm also face to face with you and we're just firing questions at each other. Walking around gives room to kind of point and enjoy things and takes things away from just like firing those questions at each other. That's why I like it. Some women might say, hey, I really want a fancy restaurant. That's my ideal first date. And that could be because they really view it as a celebration, as a, hey, this is our first time meeting together and what could be a lifetime. So we could look back at, hey, our first date, we did this really special thing. It's not for me, but it doesn't necessarily make the person materialistic because they wanted to do that. If I were a guy, I would just say, is this something that you're expecting as we're dating to do these fancy things? Is this what you expect as a lifestyle? And just decide if it's something that you want and can maintain. Not that the guy should pay all the time, not that the other person should pay all the time, but just get that established. And that really helps you get to know someone as well. So I also like to get to know someone before the date a little bit, find out what their quirks are, their what they like, what their obsessions might be. Like a guy was really obsessed with putting chapstick on. He said he always had chapstick. That was his thing. When he's nervous, he's putting on chapstick. So at our date, I brought him a chapstick and he was like, wow, this is the most thoughtful thing someone's done for me. And it really started the date off with open hearts. Hey, this is a nice person that noticed and cares about me. And so creating that kind of space, it doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe you find out their favorite color and get them a crystal that's that color, something really small, so that if you part ways after that first date, it's just a little something small, little kind gesture. And for two people to just take this time for each other, it is special to just honor that with a little gift. It can go a long way. All right, so the Ruckus had mentioned that his ideal first date is going on a nature hike. And I think that would be a great date for people. I love that as a date, but not a first date for me. I want to get to know that I can really trust the person, and I don't want to go off grid with someone that I don't know. I want to establish that trust first, and then I'll go be in the woods with someone. So I really like public spaces. Going back to that, seeing how they are in public, I'm really big on that, because you can go on a nature hike with someone, but you don't really see how they are to people, to someone that you're ordering coffee from. I had gone on a date with someone that was really rude to the waiter, and he was always nice to me. So it was really weird to see that. So just keep those kind of things in mind. Figure out, what's a setting that you can see this person authentically, and really what did they want to do? Going back to, hey, if they want a really fancy date, if you can't make that happen, don't think that it's just over. Maybe you can recreate it. Maybe you can do something outdoors where there is a beautiful view and you could pick dinner up or make something really fancy that you would get at a fancy restaurant. That would be a beautiful gesture. So use creativity and thoughtfulness, and don't try to stretch yourself to try to impress somebody. Just be yourself. So first date conversations. So I really like to ask, what was your last relationship like? Why did it end? That lets me know, how it went, what the person's willing to tolerate, what the person, are they someone that just cuts somebody off completely, or do they give multiple chances? What is their harsh cutoff? I met a guy who ended his last relationship because the woman got really drunk, took a bunch of shots, and she embarrassed herself in public. And it was so embarrassing to him that he cut it off. They had known each other for years, and he completely cut her off and ghosted her. So that lets me know, okay, he's got no wiggle room for these kind of mistakes at this moment. So this is a red flag to me. To someone else, it might be totally justified. Everyone's got to do from their heart, what feels right to them. But to me, it was harsh. So last relationship is a great one. Family, I like to figure out or find out, are they close with their family? Did they have a big family? What was it like growing up? Were they happy? Did they get to do fun things? Was there drama involved? Were there things that they had to overcome? You can find out a lot about a person based on their family and how their upbringing was. I like to find out what their satisfaction is with life. Are they really happy where they're at? Are they upset with where they're at? Are they optimistic? Are they going on dates to avoid the stress in their life or to mask it? So that really helps me. I believe that two people, it's so beautiful when two people come together, when they're loving their own lives and they just have that space to bring someone else in. And it's not filling a void or trying to cover something up. It's just literally like, I have this space and I have all this love to give. So satisfaction with life is huge. Kids, if they have kids, what's their relationship like with their mom or their dad? What are they like as a parent? What's their discipline style like? These little things that might not sound like a first date thing, they're really insightful. Also, as you're answering questions, just keep in mind, you want to get to know this other person too. So if you go on a long-winded tangent that's, say, 15 minutes, I had asked a guy, he said, I moved to another country to write a book. And I said, oh, what was the book about? And he went on like a 20-minute story about the book, the ups and downs of the book and everything. And it was like, wow, it was interesting, but it was like, I don't feel like you want to get to know me at all. So just, keep that in mind. Don't want to be too shallow, but you don't want to, go off the edge and act like you're not interested and kind of all about yourself. All right. So creativity. So there's a lot of people that will get really regimented and then they don't, or they're asleep or whatever state they're in, they don't have space for creativity. So I like to avoid that. I want to be more and more creative. So I like to ask people what creativity, how are you an artist in your life? Where do you find time for creativity? That helps really get to know someone. I talked to someone who was like, I literally nothing, maybe music a little bit, and to each their own. That's not what I was looking for, and that let me know. Routines. What kind of routines do they have? So I have found that when someone has good routines, they're more likely to really be easily weave you into their life. They're consistent. So routines show consistency. So to me, routines will really let your life flow so you can be more creative. Routines, I do want to say, just finding a different way home from work or doing something to kind of like mix up the daily routine is highly recommended. But, what do they work out every day when they get out of bed, or is working out the last thing they do? Is it something they dread? Do they like their routines? That helps you really get to know their drive. And then goals. I like to know goals, or where are they looking to grow in their life? You know, in what ways do you want to improve? I love finding that out. So that might sound like too much of an interview question, but it really helps to see, you know, does this person, where they want to go, does it align with where you want to go? So if I want to be more of an environmentally friendly person and I really want to, you know, limit my carbon footprint, if this person drives a monster truck and eats nothing but steaks, that really tells me something. So those are the questions that I highly recommend. I hope that helps you. The questions I would avoid are pretty limited. You know, feel it out and see what works best for you. But I don't ask any kind of materialistic questions. What kind of car do you drive? That either way, that kind of sounds weird. I happily drive a Prius, but I don't really have to tell you that to tell you about myself at the moment. If I were to ask a guy, what kind of car do you drive? That just sounds weird to me. So I would avoid those kind of materialistic questions. And then I would avoid on the first date anything sexual. So that first date, you're just kind of getting to know each other, seeing if you vibe and if you want to meet again. As it starts progressing and you might think that this is someone you want to be intimate with, that's when the questions could come up. You know, what are your boundaries? You know, what people might be into, really into something that the other person's not, and you just know right then, hey, this is not going to work. So get into that, but not on the first date. That can be really weird because the person, you still have to kind of sit with, do I want to even hang out with this person again? How do I feel after I have hung out with this person? Am I energized or am I completely tired? You know, see how it feels. So I hope that this was helpful to you in some way. I do want to note too, you know, going on the walks with people, I've seen all kinds of things. And I had gone on a date with someone. There were ups and downs. This person, we went to order coffee, and they went up to the person to order, and they first said, hey, how are you doing? Like, I just want to know how you're doing. They said it really genuinely, so I knew it wasn't really an act. And the person just lit up, and they're like, hey, you know, I'm almost off work. I'm so excited. I'm going to go surfing after. And that was really cool to me. Then throughout the date, walking around, we decided, hey, well, let's get some food. And the person, I'm vegan, so I have a limited diet. And so I said, hey, there's this place right here. You know, it's Tanaka ramen. And the person said, hey, you know, I don't do anything ramen. It's like, okay, I'm sure there's other options, but, you know, whatever. And so I ended up getting my order from there, and then we went to the food court. And I thought it was interesting that the person was like, hey, I really want this. And it was this counter where people are cutting all this meat. So as the guy was ordering, I'm like, I didn't even want to stand next to him because as a vegan, I'm crying for these animals and I don't want to see them being butchered dead on this table. And so it was kind of interesting to see what the choices he made was. You know, is this someone that's sensitive to my lifestyle and what I want to be around? So that's totally not a reason to say no to someone, but it was curious to watch. I was curious to see that he wasn't flexible to the place that I really wanted to go to, and that he brought me to a place that was butchering dead animals in front of me. So just think about that. I've also been on dates, you know, in public where people are rude to others, or you know, walking around, someone will drop something and they'll go to help them pick it up, and it's like, okay, that's cool. You know, how can you see how kind a person is? That's what I like to do. All right, I hope that this was helpful to you. Happy dating. May we all find the beautiful loves we're searching for. Keep in touch. Let me know what I missed, and let's stay connected.